Okay, we have another race that we're going to be doing today in the Mazda, Formula Mazda cars. Brock Purdy was kind enough to let me use his car, and we're heading over to Germany, to Nürburgring. Fairly challenging track. Now, this is a sprint circuit. This isn't the really, really long Nürburgring track, which is like 28 miles long or something. Nürburgring weaves its way through the mountains. So here I go heading out for my qualifying lap, and I'm fairly familiar with this track. I've driven it a lot in a lot of different cars, and these little Formula Mazda cars are just an absolute blast to drive. They're fun. It's like driving a go-kart. Real tight right-hander there. Going up to this kind of semi-sweeping left. But you gotta be, it's kind of a dicey one if you don't do it right. Another tight left-hander to this little corkscrew going into this right-hander. A little bit of a short straightaway. And then hard braking again for a hard right-hand hairpin. Up this little hill, gain some speed with this kind of semi-sweeper to the left. It brings you into a sweeper to the right, and downhill on this back straightaway part at Nürburgring. And then up the hill, get as much speed as you can, and then heavy braking for this left-hander to this little corkscrew section right here, bringing you back up the hill for this right-hander that's going to take you onto the front straightaway. And carrying speed out of that corner is very important for getting good time down the straightaway. So I start out, in the pole position. Things are looking good. I transition over here to the third qualifying lap, and I'm now sitting in third in qualifying, which isn't too bad. Here's somebody else qualifying, that little ghost car that you see there. And he kind of swings wide, and I'm able to get through that corner faster than he did. And then we come back around this hard right-hander into the front straightaway for the final time of qualifying. I got a 9.9 on my segment score, so that's pretty good. So I end up being third in qualifying, which is encouraging. Let things load for the race to get going, and we'll take a look at the competition. We've got a Rothman's paint job, an Xbox, Ray-Ban, another Bob Bondurant student. There I am in my 49er car. I'm not exactly sure what that is. Water cooler. Oh, here's a colorful one. So I'm sitting in fourth. I thought I qualified third, but somehow I ended up being fourth. So We'll see how this plays out. And we're off. Got somebody coming up on the outside of me here. And I end up making a little bit of contact with that guy. That's a real tight hairpin on that first one. I go off track, no penalty, but I still went off track, which is somebody banging into the back of me here. It's one of those Bondurant students. Somebody in my rearview mirror just went off track. Those guys in front of me are playing bumper cars with each other, which could possibly give me an opportunity to get past them. If they're busy tangling with each other, I might be able to get past them. But they kind of sort things out by the time that we get to this back uphill straightaway section. Now that guy, for some reason, just out of the blue, went off track. I have no idea why he did that, but that moved me up to third place. And I'd like to be able to keep that, finally make it onto the podium. So I'm going to do my darndest, and I'm looking in my rearview mirror, and I don't see anybody in my rearview mirror. So I'm feeling fairly confident. And I give this guy a lot of room. I don't want to knock myself off track. I want to keep him as close as I can, so that when the time comes, hopefully I can get past him. Now this race is 10 laps long. So ordinarily in a 10 lap race, at about the 5th or the 6th lap, you would pit to get fresh tires. But I know that from driving these Mazdas, you can get 10 laps out of a set of tires. So one of the strategies that I have playing in the back of my mind is hopefully these guys in front of me at a certain point down the road, they're going to pit to get tires, and that's going to give me an opportunity to get past them, because I know that I can make it for 10 laps on this track, because this Nürburgring track is not very aggressive. It doesn't wear out your tires a lot like a lot of other tracks. The track surface is more aggressive and it wears out your tires more. This Nürburgring it's a smooth track, so you're able to get more laps out of your tires. And so I'm just trying to be as consistent as possible. And these guys, they do seem to be pulling away from me a little bit, so, you know, not that much, but enough to where it's going to be difficult to rein them in when that time comes. And I do see somebody in my rearview mirror now. He's a little ways back there, but he is there. I'm trying as best I can to just be consistent on these laps. I'm putting down good lap times, um, but you know, the guy in front of me, he's 4.6, 4.7 seconds ahead of me. The guy leading the race, he's 6 seconds ahead of me. That's a whole lot of time. It's a lot of ground to make up. So they're clearly running around this track faster than I am. But I think my strategy might work. So I'm gonna chance it and give it a try. Because I'm pretty sure that these guys in front of me, I don't know for positive, but I feel confident that these guys are going to pit to get tires, and I'm going to be able to go by them when they're in the pits. And when they're in the pits, they're not moving, so you're able to gain a lot of ground on them. So now we're beginning the 5th lap. And I'm thinking it's either going to be the 5th or the 6th lap when these guys are going to pit to get tires. I mean, that's what I would do if I was going to get tires. I usually do it myself on the 6th lap. Yeah, that guy, he's almost 6 seconds ahead of me. The other guy, he's 8 seconds ahead of me. So these guys are getting around the track a lot faster than I am. Although I still see him up there, so I don't know how that is 6 seconds ahead, but that's what the HUD display says. Kind of misjudged that one a little bit, made a little bit of contact with that inner guardrail there. Okay, so that guy's in the pits. So now I move up to 2nd. Now the guy behind me, he's 5 seconds behind me. So I'm feeling pretty good about that, but he's probably not going to be able to catch up to me. And then the next guy, he's 16 seconds behind me. So I'm not concerned about him at all. But this guy in front of me, you know, he's 8 seconds ahead of me. So there's a real strong possibility that he could pit, get in the pits and out of the pits before I have an opportunity to get past him. That is, if in fact he pits. I think he will, but I don't know for sure. So this is the 6th lap. So I'm going to keep an eye and see if this guy, if these times start changing as I come down the straightaway. Yeah, see how they're dropping down. He's in the pits. So now I'm in 1st place. We got 3 laps left. And hopefully I'm going to be able to maintain this. Now I am going to have to approach things a little bit more gingerly than I ordinarily would, because I know, I got 7 laps on these tires. But I know that you can make it for 10 laps on these tires on this track. I've done it before. And I'm not seeing anybody in my rearview mirror, so it's not like I'll have to be fighting off anybody that's gaining ground on me in any major way. Most of the guys are 11, 12 seconds behind me. One guy is 26 seconds behind me. That guy must be driving around this track in second gear or something. I don't know. He's going pretty slow. So now I'm coming around to begin the 8th lap. And let's see how far behind me they are. They're roughly 10 seconds behind me. So if I remain consistent, I should be able to hold those guys off. Even though they'll be gaining ground because they have fresher tires than I do. See, one of the guys, he's already down to 9.5 seconds behind me. So he's gaining ground. And there I finally got a heads up for minor tire wear. But minor tire wear is okay. And then next, it'll say moderate tire wear. But it's when it flashes red and it says severe tire wear. That's when, yes, you better get to the pits because you're gonna end up with a flat tire. But I'm not gonna pit. I'm gonna take a chance and go all out with just one set of tires. Because I would very much like to win a race. Regardless of what kind of strategy you might use, winning a race is still winning a race. And these guys, they are gaining ground on me, because now that he's down to only 5 seconds behind me. And I'm having to take things a little bit lighter in these corners and stuff, because I got 9 laps on these tires. A little bit off track there, but no penalty, so that's okay. A little bit of a front end slide there. He's up to 3.7 seconds behind me. So there's a real good possibility that this guy might catch me. Now I've got moderate tire wear, but I'm still going to go for it. I'm not going into the pits. Now, for some reason, those guys just massively, they must have made contact with each other or something, because now all of a sudden they're 10 seconds behind me. 10 seconds and 11 seconds respectively. So with that much of a time gap, I can take it a little bit easier on this final lap because they're 10 seconds behind me. They were gaining ground quite a bit. Then, the one guy, he had made up from 9 seconds to 3 seconds. So he was definitely gaining ground on me. And he's back up to 9, 9.8, 9.9 seconds behind me. But this is the final section of the race, so I'm feeling pretty good right now. I just don't want to make any mistakes and end up getting myself on the podium. I would really like that. Go down the front straightaway for the final time. And there you go. So I ended up finishing first. I'm pretty happy about that. 1:36 lap time, but the guy behind me was putting down lap times at 1:34. So that's my race today in my Formula Mazda 49er Brock Purdy edition. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you on the racetrack.